What's going on, everybody? Ronnie DiMaggio here, product specialist at BMW of Morristown, and in today's video we're going to be talking about a handful of features that your BMW is probably equipped with but that you probably aren't using. So this video is about features that most BMWs are equipped with but that most owners either don't know exist or just don't use, even though they would probably be getting some utility out of them if they did use this feature. So of course this video is tailored towards BMW owners. However, if you don't own a BMW, you're just a curious BMW enthusiast, there's a good chance you'll still be able to learn something about some features that you didn't know BMWs had. Even BMW owners will probably be surprised that their car has one or more of the features that we're going to show in this video. So this is a 2024 X7. It is the demo car for this video. However, not all of the features are specific to the X7. There are a small amount of features that are specific to iDrive 8, the operating system that this car is equipped with. But if you have a modern BMW, there's a good chance that at least one of these features will apply to your car. So with that said, let's get started. We'll hop in the X7 and start going over some features. All right, here we are inside of the X7. Let's jump right into it and start talking about our first feature, and that is the ability to adjust your sound system settings in your BMW. Now, I think the majority of owners are aware of the ability to fine-tune the settings for your sound system, but I know a lot are not, or at least a lot don't do it, because we get cars coming in all the time, customers calling saying the sound system doesn't quite sound the way I expected it to, or the way I like it to, or they just come in for a number of other reasons, and you hop in the car and you find that the sound system is not adjusted from factory settings at all. And I think if that's the case, you're missing out on the sound system's full capabilities. Obviously, BMW ships the cars with very neutral, plain settings, and it's to your benefit most of the time to adjust the settings to boost the sound system's audio performance. So in order to do that, in iDrive 8 equipped cars, you go to the menu here, click on System Settings, click on Sound, and here is your list of sound system settings. Now, this is not at all specific to iDrive 8 or the 24 X7. I was just in a 1991 3 Series the other day, and there were little tuning adjustments for the sound system, the bass and the treble and stuff like that. So this should be very generally applicable to almost every modern BMW. So how to adjust the sound system. I personally put the treble about 75% of the way up, and I turn the bass all the way up. I like a lot of bass, and I just find that little treble adjustment makes the sound system maybe a little bit clearer. Now, I'm clearly not an audiophile. However, if you are, you have an equalizer here that you can tune to your liking as well. The way an equalizer works is it allows you to subdue or amplify certain frequencies in music, higher and lower frequencies, so you can fiddle with this to your liking. We had a comment on a recent YouTube video asking for down on how to tune the Harman Kardon system. I am just not knowledgeable enough on sound and, audio fidelity and sound systems and things like that to make that video. However, what's your forte on YouTube is a YouTube channel who made a great video on his preferred settings for the Harman Kardon sound system. In the comments, I'll say that it sounds really good, so go check that out if you want a more in-depth look at how to adjust the Harman Kardon sound system. But I do think it's worth noting that you can adjust the sound system and that you should adjust the sound system if you have a BMW with Harman Kardon or any other sort of sound system. It is definitely to your benefit to play with the settings. So that's our first feature. Let's move on to the next one. All right, this next feature is a safety setting that I highly, highly recommend all owners take advantage of. Now, this one is not as universal as being able to adjust your sound system. However, it is available in a lot of modern BMWs, and that is automatic rear braking, automatic park distance control braking in the rear. Depending on your BMW, the wording might be a little bit different, but it has largely the same function. So what that does is prevent you from having an accident where you're in reverse and something or someone approaches the car from the side and is about to cross your path. The car can notice that and brake for you. So to turn that on, go to your menu here, click on Parking. You can also access this just by pressing the parking button down here in the center console. Click on More, Settings, Active PDC Emergency Braking, and then make sure both of these boxes here are checked on. Now, for some reason, these settings are often disabled from factory, but you definitely want to enable that. It is designed to, like I said, mitigate the risk of an accident or mishap happening where a car, a pet, a person runs behind the car while you're in reverse, this can help reduce the risk of that turning into a serious accident. It will not always prevent that accident from happening, of course, but it can, decrease the chance, even if only slightly. It's worth turning this feature on just for that slight improvement in the safety when parking, reversing, and things like that. So that's definitely one that if your BMW has it, you should turn on. All right, our next feature is, unlike the sound system adjustment, very much specific to the iDrive 8 equipped BMWs and even the higher trim ones like X7 and 7 Series. So that is the ability to record parking paths. It's a super cool feature, and this is how it works. So go into your parking menu here, and you'll see on the right, you have the option to record a new path. So what that does is you click that button, drive, let's say, up your driveway, for example, and the car will record every motion that you do with the steering wheel, and it will then memorize those motions and therefore how to drive up your driveway. Benefit is you never have to drive up your driveway again. The car now knows how to do it, so every time you pull up to the bottom of your driveway, click Start Driveway in the parking menu, the car will go up your driveway and you don't have to do anything. Now, for many people, that's totally useless if you have a nice, wide open, beautiful driveway, but there's a lot of folks that have narrow driveways with curbs and ledges and whatnot on the sides, or you have to back into a weird spot at your apartment parking garage. Any number of situations where you don't really feel comfortable parking, all you have to do is do it correctly once to record the path, and then the car will do it for the rest of the times that you have to do that movement. So let's do an example. I'll click Record New Path there, put the car in drive, and I'll drive a short distance, 30 feet or so, just to give the car a path to remember, just like that. I'll click Save Recording. You can change the name, so we'll leave it as Recording Path 1 actually. Save recording. Now I'm going to go back to where I was, use the backup assistant. Alright, so we're back where we were before we started recording that path, and you'll see it says Start Recorded Path 1 here. Now, you do have to be at the location where you started the recorded path in order for this prompt to come up. Obviously, it's not going to do the recorded path if you're way far away, but if you start the recording at the bottom of your driveway, all you have to do is click, Start Driveway. Every time you get to the bottom of the driveway, this prompt will pop up. So instead of doing that exact little 30-foot drive that I just did, again, I can just click Start Recorded Path, and the car is going to do everything for me here. It's going to do exactly what I did previously when we were recording that path. And I have my hands off the wheel, I have my feet off the pedals. I didn't hit the brake there. The car just did everything for me. Should make a little beep here in a second to indicate that the path is done, and there you go. So this is a feature that I know the vast majority of iDrive 8 owners and cars equipped with this feature don't know they have. I always love pointing it out during deliveries and test drives because it's a super neat feature. But if you have this feature and you didn't know about it, now you do. So that's that. Let's move on to the next one. All right, this next one is, again, another one that is specific to iDrive 8. However, most of the ones after this are not. So this one is super simple. A lot of people do know about this with iDrive 8, but an equal amount don't. Probably 50-50, but it's a really useful feature to have, and that is the shortcuts. So BMW obviously got rid of the 1 through 8 buttons that used to be down here on the center console. They got rid of them in their physical form, but they are now there digitally. So you swipe down from this little white bar here on the home screen, and now you have these 4 shortcuts here. So we have one assigned to ambient lighting, so you click on that and it goes to the ambient lighting menu, but you can set these to whatever you want. So let's go to a radio station. Let's say we want Yacht Rock Radio. Hold down on that, add to shortcuts, and now it pops up right there every time you swipe down. Super useful for phone numbers that you dial frequently, addresses that you drive to often, or settings that you like to adjust all the time, like ambient lighting. So simple feature, but it's definitely one that a lot of iDrive 8 owners and users don't use enough or don't take advantage of, but they should. So now you know. Let's move on to the next feature. All right, this next feature is more fun, not really super useful, but it's a nice kind of party trick, kind of a gimmick, to be honest, but it's super fun to use and play with. So that is the ability to set a custom wakeboard. So we all know that BMW's personal assistant can be accessed by the little button on the steering wheel here, or by saying, "Hey BMW," and there she goes. The personal assistant will wake up and take your command and, work how it's supposed to. However, you can also set a personal wake word. So to do that, go to System Settings. This is true of iDrive 8 as well. You can do this. I know, obviously, of course, you can do it on iDrive 7. I don't believe anything older than iDrive 8 is capable of doing this. iDrive 7, I'm sorry, is capable of doing this, but you go to Settings, System Settings, Voice Control, Personal Assistant, and then click on Wake Word here. Now you have the personal wake word. You can toggle it on and off, or you can toggle it on and delete it. I set mine to Friday. If you watch the Avengers movies, if you're an Iron Man fan, you know where that came from. But you can set it to whatever you like. You can set it to a name, any word. You just type it in. So to change it, you go to Change. You just type in whatever you like. You can type in, you know, anything you want there, and the car will recognize it, and that will be your new wake word. So that's a fun one to have. It's just kind of cool to set that to whatever you like. Of course, Hey BMW works just as well as a custom wake word. The custom wake word is a little bit more fun to have. So that is your custom wake word. All right, this next setting is again not specific to iDrive 8. In fact, I know iDrive 7 can do this, and you might even be able to do it on older BMW operating systems, and that is Valet Parking Mode. Valet Parking Mode is super useful because it totally locks out this center screen when you give the car to a valet, or really anybody that you might not want doing anything other than just driving the car and parking it. You can put it in Valet Parking Mode, locks out the center screen, prevents anybody from adjusting your settings, doing anything with the radio, navigation system, looking at addresses, anything like that. Super useful feature, not because you don't trust valets, but because it adds a little bit of peace of mind that your car is being driven to a parking spot, locked and left there, and nothing else. So to activate that with iDrive 8, you go from your home screen here, go to the menu in the top left, scroll till you see the gear icon with system settings, click on that, scroll down until you get to your vehicle settings here, and click on Valet Parking Mode, and then click Activate Valet Parking Mode. Now this will only work if you have your BMW ID signed in, which I do here. So you'll see it locked out the center screen. I can't even click on climate menu. It just sets the climate to a preset comfortable temperature, 72 degrees, at a preset fan speed. I can press home, media, map, nothing down on the iDrive controller works. That's pretty much all you get is the gear selector and, you know, the basic essentials to park the car. Now to get out of valet mode, once you get your car back from the valet, click on your driver profile there, enter in your passcode, click OK, and you're back in. So that's valet mode. Really nice, useful feature. Like I said, adds a little bit of peace of mind when you're giving your car to somebody else for a short period to park it. Definitely a nice feature to have. This next feature is very back to basics. It actually has nothing to do with any of the screens in this car. It doesn't even have anything to do with any of the buttons in this car. It is as back to basics as it gets, and that has to do with the sun visors. So this might seem, if you already know about this, you might think that this is just a given. Why would this be a feature that people don't know about? But if you're one of those people, you might be shocked to learn that the vast majority of BMW owners don't know about this. I have showed this feature to all my friends and family that have BMWs, and 8 times out of 10, they say, I had no idea. How did I not know that? The feature is that you can, obviously you can pop the sun visor out and swing it around, but in the vast majority of BMWs, you can give it a little bump over on the end, and it slides out to cover the entire side window here, rather than just, you know, the front 60% or so if you just swivel it around like that. So you just pull it, and now you have much better coverage in case, and that can make all the difference. If the sun's right back there, it's the difference of being, you know, blinded from the side there and being perfectly comfortable and being able to see just fine. So seems very basic, very maybe even silly to some, but a lot of people don't know that. If you're one of those people that didn't know, now you do. All right, our next feature has to do with SiriusXM Radio. Again, this is not specific to iDrive 8. You can do this on iDrive 7 and older iDrive versions. This is a super nice one, especially if you really like listening to SiriusXM Radio. To be honest, we'll go over a couple of different Sirius features, because a lot of people, Sirius has really expansive and comprehensive capability, and a lot of people just use it to listen to the radio, but you can do a lot more than that. So I'll click on the music icon here. We'll go to audio source, SiriusXM Radio. Now, of course, you can scroll through, find a station that you like. Let's go to, how about Yacht Rock Radio? We don't actually want to play anything for copyright reasons, but right now it's playing Wildfire by Michael Martin Murphey. If you click on notify here, you can have the radio system or the infotainment system notify you either when this song comes on or when another song by this artist comes on. And this totally eliminates the old issue of, you know, waiting for a song to come up on the radio, and when it comes on, you got to turn it up, and, you know, it's great. This sort of gets rid of that, and now every time it comes on, you don't have to be searching through stations to find it. Your car will tell you, hey, your favorite song is on, send you a notification, and you can tune to that station. Makes listening to the radio much better. Now, that's the main feature that I wanted to talk about, but there's even more to SiriusXM than that. And that is the related button here does a similar function. You can click related, it'll show, so here's some other stations where Michael Martin Murphey is playing some other similar songs and similar things to what you're listening to on the station. So if you're like, hey, I like this song, click on related, and Sirius will show you other stations that are playing similar types of music. So Sirius is great for sort of fine-tuning your radio listening experience, much more so than FM or AM radio. Obviously, you can save presets and favorites. Most people know about that. But those two things, Notify and Related, are great to add and, you know, enhance your SiriusXM listening experience. All right, our next and final feature has to do with your parking system in your BMW. Now, this used to be a button that was down on the center console, but now it's sort of in the parking menu on the screen here. This is your ability to have a panoramic camera view from the rear of the car when backing out of a parking space. This is another feature, again, like all the features in this video. All of these made this list because in my experience as a product specialist, I found that most people don't know these exist. This is one that most people don't know exists, and when they find out about it, they're super excited because it's a really useful feature. So to access it in iDrive 8, you press the P button down here, the parking sensor button, and then you click on Panorama View. It's on the side. It's right there, clear as day, but a lot of people don't spend the time to, and understandably spend the time to go through all the little buttons on here. They just get this, and this is such a good camera view already that you're happy with it. You don't look any further, but all you have to do is tap on Panorama View here, and it's showing me the back of the car, but if I put it in reverse, I now get a panoramic view of the entire row behind me, which is super helpful because if there was ever a chance that somebody was coming behind me right now, I would totally see them. There's really no blind spots except for like right next to me in this parking spot, but that's not an issue because if that car was moving, you would see it clear as day right out of your side window. So super, super useful camera view. I don't even have to look out the windows. I can tell clearly there's nobody coming. So super useful camera, and then as soon as you're done with it, just go back to your parking view and you get your normal backup camera and your overhead, which are also super useful when parking as well. So the panoramic camera, again, not a lot of people know about it, but it's really useful and can definitely help make backing out of parking spots safer. You should probably always back into your parking spots for that reason anyway, but to make parking head in and then backing out a little bit safer, the panoramic camera view is there for you. All right, so with all of those things said, that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully you learned at least one thing. If even one of these features was unknown to you before watching this video, I'll consider that a success. So hopefully you were able to learn something from this, and if you did, if you enjoyed the video, please like the video and consider subscribing to the channel. We really appreciate that. Thank you all so much for watching, commenting, liking, subscribing. That all means a lot to us, so thank you so much. And if you have any questions about anything said in this video, any suggestions for future videos, please drop those down in a comment below. We read all the comments, respond to all the comments, so we appreciate you commenting, and we love to hear what you guys have to say. Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at BMW of Morristown. That's going to do it for this one. Again, thank you guys so much for watching and engaging with the channel. We will see you in the next one.